This is
I'm
a test
following
on see what the
my
score is
friend
here
and
with
his
regard to the
son
mix.
from Aubenas, France, to Portofino here, and the my friend is up front, and his son is in second, and I'm behind, and they go very, very fast. Everybody in France knows how to ride a motorcycle and ski, and these are wonderful sweeping turns. Um, uh, the Garmin sometimes thinks that you've made an unscheduled U-turn and tells you want to go back, but I don't use the Garmin when I'm following these guys because I just follow them. My friend up front is the one that figures out these courses using, I think he was using the Garmin Trend software. I use it sometimes. It's good for this kind of thing. It's very bad for finding, it can't find a restaurant that you're standing in front of, but it's very good for twisties and whatnot. And you can see it's not hot here at all. We're climbing in altitude. You can see the snow on the mountains. I'm on a Yamaha Tenere 700. Sylvan, my friend, found the motorcycle for me. It was owned by a company called Touratech, which makes accessories for motorcycles, the luggage and whatnot. And Touratech bought my motorcycle new from Yamaha and put every accessory on it that they had. Plus, they had the wheels remanufactured in Italy so that they're tubeless tires. The Tenere, it's a 700 cross-plane motor. It's absolutely just a bulletproof bike. Totally. The only thing that's ever gone wrong with it is when a mechanic works on it or something. And for instance, if I had the suspension lowered and they forgot to reattach the hydraulic line brackets and stupid things like that. But nothing's gone wrong with the bike at all. I've had to replace a chain and sprockets after about 45,000 kilometers. Last year, I put 20,000 kilometers on it. And so this his son in between is riding my friend's Yamaha Tenere. My friend up front, he has 8 or 9 motorcycles, and he's riding a motorcycle he just bought a couple of days ago. I think it's like a 390 or a 400cc bike, single cylinder. And the bike before he bought, 2 weeks before that, he bought a 700cc. He just came into some money, so he's spending some money. But he bought a 700cc motorcycle, which is one cylinder, a thumper. And a single cylinder motorcycle has unbelievable torque. Unbelievable. I used to ride a BSA 440 Victor. At 440, the throttle is on or off. I mean, unbelievable. I go do hill climb type stuff. I mean, real dirts and stuff. And when I was much younger. So we're booking along here, and we were camping out with tents, and I had this digestive disease that was misdiagnosed by some doctor, and had all sorts of antibiotics that I needed. The antibiotic in the United States costs $2,400 for 42 pills. So I found out that it cost $11.50 in France for the same stupid drug. So I came to France and then found out that they prescribe it, but they don't prescribe it for SIBO, intestinal bacteria overgrowth. They only prescribe it for hepatic encephalopathy, which thank God I don't have. I couldn't get them to give it to me, so I came to Italy and got 100 pills for $11.47. Started taking that in Bactrim. I actually did take Bactrim, and it made it go away. And then when I stopped taking the Bactrim, it came back, which is, again, when I said to the gastroenterologist, well, what's going on here? How come I have this? He said, well, it's your biome. And I said, well, it wasn't my biome for 77 years, for God's sake. So what do you mean it's my biome? That doesn't make any sense. And he said, well, what can I do about it? He says, here's 12 pills. When I left these guys, because they were camping out every night, and it was just too hard work, and it's just not my thing anymore. So they went down to the toe of Italy, and then took a boat to Athens, and they're sailing in the Med now. And I was supposed to go and sail with him, but his other son and his wife was going to come, and then it's a 3 cabin. It's just going to be a nightmare with 5 or 6 people on a small boat. And I didn't want to be camping out, so I left, and I was sick, and I went to Tivoli, and I stayed in Tivoli, and with ChatGPT, I gave ChatGPT my medical history. And told ChatGPT that I had dysautonomia, which was evidenced by a couple of symptoms that I have, like orthostatic hypotension, if I'm standing and I turn quickly, I kind of lose my balance a little bit, and so it's just a sort of an old age degradation of your autonomic nervous system. And then ChatGPT told me that the motility, I said, well, where's this bacteria coming from? And everybody said, well, it's coming from your lower bowel, your colon. And I said, how does it get from my colon up to my small intestine? And they said, well, it comes. I said, well, how does it come up if all the flow is going the other way? Well, the flow is a little weak. And I said, well, then the problem isn't the solution isn't a goddamn antibiotic. The solution is to make the peristalsis stronger. How do you do that? So the ChatGPT recommended all these what are called kinetics meaning make the peristalsis more. And so I looked at the ingredients on this stuff, and the major ingredient of everything they were giving me was ginger. So I went to Food Map. I went to the supermarket, and I bought a big root of ginger, and I sliced it and dried it and chewed on it. 5 minutes, I'd take a little piece and chew on it 5 minutes before I eat, and bingo, I'm cured, and that's it. And the GI doctor, he was so busy, thinking about the money he was going to make from sticking a scope up the next person's ass, that he wasn't going to talk about why it's just my biome. So and I said to him, did I get this from eating like lettuce that had been contaminated? You read about this stuff. And he did say that I don't remember what he said, but ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT that, and they said it's unlikely that it would survive the gastric, your stomach will dissolve aluminum foil. It's got a pH of 2, for God's sake. A normal pH is 7, between base and acid. So, I don't know what the inside of a battery is, but, it might be 2. I don't know. Sulfuric acid. And by the way, that's what's in your stomach, battery acid. So in any event, so here I am following these guys, having a time of my life. I used to sail. I love sailing. But sailing is a whole lot of work for not a whole lot of sailing time. And it's spiritual, but so is this, and this is requires a lot more skill than sailing. If you can understand ping pong, You can if you can understand ping pong, you can fly a plane, for God's sake, other than the flaps. So so you know, this is takes a lot less investment of time, and you don't need a house on the Chesapeake, which I don't have anymore, and you just need a garage, and you don't even need a garage. So this is how I love to spend my time. Eileen doesn't really like to spend time doing this too much, but she humors me from time to time. But so I left these guys. I went to Tivoli. I figured out what was wrong. I stayed with these wonderful people who are now friends for life. I've rented the place in Tivoli for the first 3 weeks of September. I'm now in Corsica, doing stuff like this on in Corsica, which is just a great big rock with curvy roads, curvier than these, shorter and tighter than these. I don't know where I'm going to go after. I know I'm going to Sardinia, and I now have a Vodafone SIM and a French eSIM. The Vodafone SIM was supposed to. I bought 4 months worth, but now they're telling me somehow that the 4 months worth isn't 4 months worth of being out of Italy. So I turned on my French SIM, but the French SIM is telling me I've got to top up. But the English speaking, the French are impossible. The French, you call Orange, which is the biggest telecom. It has the best service, the best cellular reach, but their English speaking support line speaks French, and they don't even know it. And you can't call an Orange boutique. They don't have a phone number, and so I have to go a half hour to find an Orange boutique tomorrow, which will be fun because there is not a road in Corsica that isn't fun, and the Corsicans are very nice people. It's a great big island. It's a big island when you're on a motorcycle. There are no straight roads in Corsica, and it's wonderful. And the roads are not nearly as straight as this. These are big, long, sweeping roads. There's nothing like this in Corsica. Corsica is left and right, sweeping, and it's fun. So in any event, that's all the news that's fit to print here.